Doug, an exciting start to the season. Talk to us about how you found it personally.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice to have had a full pre-season. Obviously, coming halfway through the year when I signed, and then having the shoulder surgery and what have you last year, I felt that there was always sort of a reason not to really sort of be able to kick on and get straight stuck in. So coming in this pre-season, I wanted to obviously come with a clean bill of health, most importantly, but then use every session that I could to progress and hopefully show the staff and the lads and everything like that I can be in the team to start the year, and thankfully that's been the case. But like you set your targets for to be in that first team of the year, and then that comes and goes, and you've got to change you've got to move the goalposts almost. So now it's about staying in the team. Got a lot of competition, a lot of really good players, so you can't take it for granted at all. And so every day you just got to try and get better and try and keep your place in the team. And
like you say, you really have become sort of one of the key figures now, and a lot of the players will probably view you as a leader. You're very vocal on the pitch. So how have you found that gelling with some of the new boys?
I think leadership is one of those things that it's earned and given as opposed to taken or expected. It's something that I'm always conscious of, that I want to set standards and I want to hold myself to those standards more importantly, and if that means that people follow or people come with me, then that's great. But I think most importantly you've got to be yourself, and as you say, like I tend to shout more than run, I suppose, on a pitch. So it's one of many things that I'd like to try and bring to the team, especially when we're trying to be as competitive and as good as we can be this year. It's going to take everyone being completely themselves, but the best version of themselves, and so that's what I'll strive for every day. And we're really well supported by not only each other as players, but and that being on the pitch and off the pitch, but also the staff, from the manager and Sean and Stevie to Greg and Morts and Andy and that in the background stuff. So it's really cohesive. It's a really enjoyable place to be, like genuinely, and hopefully that comes out on the pitch with positive performances for the fans.
A number of new lads in the door this summer, a couple in the defensive line. How have you been gelling with them and getting on with them?
It helps. They're all really good lads. There's not a bad egg in there. So you, as I say, you look forward to coming to work. It's not it's not a case of there's cliques or anything like that. It's just each lad is genuine. You try and get to know each other. Obviously I've been around the likes of Harvey and Cam, we're talking about the back line, and Ty and whoever else, like a bit longer than Sweens and Sam, but you have to build those relationships as it goes, and I think you can see that we've been working on it a lot through pre-season. I think the staff have done really well in using what was there for those of us that remain, from what we built on last year, and then introducing the lads who've signed this summer, and incorporating them into it, and sort of I think it's a credit to them more than anything that they completely understand and have sort of bought in and everything like that we haven't necessarily missed a step. It's felt good through pre-season. Obviously there's ups and downs, there's going to be ups and downs throughout the whole year, but I think, as I say, it's a credit to everyone, the new lads, even the lads that have existed from last season's squad, that everyone is continuing to buy in and everyone wants to improve. So hopefully it puts us in good stead.
Speaking on Jaden Sweeney in particular, I mean, he's impressed in his first two games. What's it like having played along in a back line with a player like that?
I think with a lot of players, but like Jaden specifically, like, it's a trust thing. I trust him that he can do his job, and he can do his job excellently. And so it means that I can focus on me. I can focus on what I can do to contribute, and because I know that like Jaden understands where he's going to be and where I expect him to be and everything like that, and he's vocal, he's a leader as well. I think that's another thing that we can credit everyone that's come in, is they're a leader in their own right. So whether it's with how they perform on the pitch, the way that they put themselves about, or how they contribute off the pitch, or a mix of both. And I'm not surprised that Swains has shown how good he is in the first 2 games, because we've seen it, pretty much every day, just like all the other lads.
And what targets personally has Gaffer set you to improve on and work on this season?
I think you can always improve in everything. I think that's the way that I'll always look at it. I think that as soon as you think that you've got at least one area of the game fixed, you'll very quickly be humbled. So the manager's been honest with us all, that there's every way to continue. And I think for me personally, it's contributing to trying to dominate the ball a little bit more, be comfortable in possession, make the right decisions, support the lads going forward, so that we can get the game changers on the ball. We can create chances so that the lads that we know that are going to finish, and then ultimately concede as little goals as possible. It sounds really simple, and it's something that every fan will understand and expect me to say. Well, that's what it is. That's my job, is to move the ball forward in such a way that we can score goals and stop them moving the ball forward, so we don't concede. So we'll just try and do our best, and we have plenty of reviews. We've had targets set and all that sort of stuff. So it's a very professional environment, and it's something that I think we'll all excel in, hopefully, over the year.
And now looking away from the league, obviously round 1 of the Carabao Cup, we made it to round 2 last season. I'm sure you're hoping we can match that this year round.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go into any game thinking that we're willing to lose, or that we're not wanting to progress or anything like that. So I think because it's round 1, of course, the goal is to make it to round 2, and that's irrespective of how we did last year. That's just because right now we're in the mindset of we want to win every game. Now that's going to be tough. Shrewsbury are a good team. They were in the league above last year. They've got really good players, and they play a really competitive style of football. So we can't take anything for granted when we turn up tomorrow. It's a new game. It doesn't matter how league results or form or anything goes, because it's whilst it might not be something that you can look beyond and go, oh right, the goal is the final, so this goal doesn't matter. Like, you have to play the game tomorrow. It's still 90 minutes of football, and it's still 11 players on the pitch that are trying to beat you. So you have to take a step forward and make sure that hopefully we're the winners that come on top.
They can be quite important games, can't they, for players that are in and out of the team. They can really make a claim to a starting spot, can't they?
Yeah, and whoever plays tomorrow, the mentality is the same. I think that's something that has been really, really good through pre-season, is that we've mixed the teams up quite well. We've all been conditioned to play with each other and understand each other's or the details, the intricacies in each other's game. Whoever plays tomorrow is going to understand what we're doing. We're not going to change a whole load in terms of who we want to be, how the manager wants us to play. The expectation is that everyone can bring their own qualities within that system, I suppose. And that the quality of player that we've got mean that everyone in every position is going to get pushed. So if people get an opportunity tomorrow who haven't been playing, then that they're going to put their best foot forward, because they believe that they're going to be in the team, and we all believe that everyone can contribute when they play. And it means that for anyone who stays in the team, in the last 2 league games, you've got to keep that shirt. It's not easy to stay in a team that's willing to be competitive and has set goals and standards that are high, because if you let those slip, then there's going to be someone right behind you who's wanting to take that shirt and is going to bring the club and the team and everything like that to the targets that we want. So it's an exciting time. It's a really good squad. It's something again that I enjoy being a part of, we just take it one game at a time.
And playing in front of those fans, there was a photo posted on social media yesterday of a really nice photo of you clapping all the fans. I'm sure that's something you probably told to the new lads, and how important they can be, particularly in cup competitions, just to will us over the line.
Yeah, honestly, obviously when you first come in, I did the same. When you ask, what the fans like before you get a chance to play at BP, or even before you've had a chance to have an away game, and they'll say the same thing, which is they're going to turn up and they're going to be there for you. And it's something I've been lucky enough to experience over the last sort of 18 months or so. and it's something that I think when you've had other experiences of other clubs, certainly at this level and around, you realise that it is a little bit more special when the fans are, you know, at Harrogate, for example, on Saturday, where, you know, that was a tough game to be a fan of, because we left it until the last minute for us to get something, and they were there with us the whole game. We could feel them. They drove us through, and ultimately, I think, you know, part of the reason that we do cross the line with a, you know, somewhat positive result on Saturday is because of the fans, and so it's always nice to repay that with a little bit of quality, or, you know, good performances all round. And I think ultimately, I'm certainly grateful for the support. I know all the lads are grateful for the support, and you know, it's something that when you're growing up and you're thinking about being a footballer, you do think about having the fans behind you and clapping along and singing and all that sort of stuff. So being able to take a breath after a game and just soak it in is something that hopefully I never take for granted.
Brilliant. Thank you, Doug.